I'm going to tell you a little story about how I broke my word and my actions today. And I never put out a client's business, but I've only ever had one client quit. And this was 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, this guy signed up for 3 months with me, and he did the first 4, and then he ghosted me on the last 4. But he paid in full. About a year later, he reaches out. He asks me for a refund. I was busy. I was away for like 3 months, 4 months at work. And I told him that, hey, I have a lot to do right now. I'm literally leaving tomorrow. It's a bad time. Can't talk about this. Didn't text me for the rest of the year. Around Christmas, he reached out again. And I was like, cool, just send me the screenshots. Send me whatever we talked about. It was a long time ago. I don't remember. He never did. Ironically, now, 2 years later, he texted me the other day. He goes, hey, man, I'm still looking for that refund from that thing. I was like, hey, dude, nice to hear from you. I'll honor my word. Just send me the screenshots of whatever we talked about. Then he started being rude, right? I'm a kind of guy who keeps his word and his actions aligned. I told him I would refund him. And for the sessions that he didn't attend, but after he ghosted him, requests to quit. He started being rude to me. And I really wanted to follow through with my word. And I did. And I said, hey, man, you're being kind of rude here. I don't need to do you this favor. I said, I'm trying to keep my word from you, but I don't like how you're speaking to me, because he started really crossing some boundaries. He called me a wannabe David Goggins, and I said, okay, you've crossed the line. I already sent him some money, but he told me that it was more or whatever. And I said, hey, just send me the record of your invoice. He said, I don't have time to go and grab it. If you have it, send me a screenshot. And he started calling me names, started calling me David Goggins, right? And I was getting triggered, because I'm like, I run a successful business. I help a ton of people all the time. This is the one client that's quit, and here he is 2 years later asking me for a refund that I did agree to at that time. I was just busy. I left for work for a couple months. I was off the grid. So I didn't really take too well to that. And when I think that you are a person that aligns your words and your actions, you should follow through in 99.99% of those situations. However, if somebody shows that they are ungrateful and that they are now again crossing more boundaries with you, that's when I was like, okay, man, see you later. I don't like the rudeness. I don't owe you anything. You don't owe me anything. And then he started threatening to leave really horrible Google reviews. And I was like, do it, right? Do it. Don't even have Google reviews. Just my business, my website. I don't like when people really get under my skin like that. And it sucks, because I feel like I failed this guy. And now seeing this guy 2 years later, and he still hasn't grown. He still has this kind of immature victimhood mindset. Here he is triggering me, who's grown leaps and bounds from even the time that I worked with him as a mentor and as a coach. And I'm getting triggered and I'm upset. So 99.9% of the time, you have to align your words and your actions. The other 1% of the times, because life will throw you some curveballs, and I'm sure that was the universe just testing me to see what I would do. Right? Didn't feel good. Sent him most of the money, but he was like, oh, you're $40 short, blah, blah, blah. And then continued to berate me. And I was like, okay, we're done here. Cut him off, right? Blocked him. I'm not going to be threatened. I'm certainly not the guy you want to threaten. And you certainly don't want me as an enemy. But for you who's watching this, align your words and your actions as often as you can. However, there are some times where you go, you know what? No thanks. You've now crossed some lines, and I don't owe you any more favors, right? Boom, and I blocked him, right? You have to do this kind of stuff as a person. You have to be willing to cut people off and let them go. It is the only way to live your life. I promise, it is the only way to live your life. And the other hundreds of clients that I have, I know I've given them enough. I've seen them succeed. I know they're on their way, and I see them changing. So I'm not gonna let one bad apple ruin the rest of it. But yeah, I have my challenges too. And yeah, I think that's some great advice about 99.9% of the time, align your words and your actions. But don't bend over backward, especially when someone is treating you the wrong way. See you in the next one.